Welcome to the Home Designer Quick Start Training Seminar. Today we will be covering a complete home design which will take about an hour. Before we begin, I would like to go over the GoToMeeting control panel. The first option is the audio. The standard is use mic and speakers. If you can't hear me correctly, double-check the volume on your computer. Otherwise, select the audio setup and that will give you some more controls to level out the audio. If that's still not working correctly, use the telephone option. By selecting the Use Telephone Radio button, a new phone number and access code will appear for you to use. Next, we have the questions area. You can type in any questions you might have throughout the training. We'll be getting to all of the questions today, however, there are quite a few people attending, so please allow a few minutes for a response. If you don't see the large control panel, it is minimized to a little icon that locates to the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Click on the arrows to restore the complete control panel, which gives you access to your audio control as well as the questions area. Today I will be using Home Designer Professional. We offer many different types of programs to meet your design needs. For our complete home design, I'll be going over the program toolbar. We'll draw out the walls and I'll show you how to dimension. Then we'll place doors and windows and create a basic kitchen design by placing cabinets, resizing, adding appliances, and customizing using different materials and colors. We will then add a foundation, go over the electrical tools including how to place lighting. Then we will add a roof and change the roof style, create a wraparound deck, add a slope terrain and include a driveway and some landscaping features. Then we will be covering framing, CAD tools, and I will show you how layers work within Home Designer. We will create a full material list and at the end, produce a plan set within Home Designer Professional. If you have any questions, use the GoToMeeting questions area so you can get your questions answered throughout the training. Let's go ahead and get started using Home Designer Pro. When you create a new plan within all Home Designer programs, you have a few options. These are the different templates available. I will be using the default style for today. As we work our way down the list, you can see the image changes with different materials, different doors, different cabinet styles, so you can choose these different options before you get started. You can also specify the units of measurement. I will be using US units. If you need to use metric, select that radio button before you start your plan. We also offer a few different types of template categories. As I select this drop-down menu, I'll select Interior Templates. These are defined living spaces that you can open and work with. We have a bathroom, a kitchen, a dining room, some living rooms, and a child's room. This is a great way to get started, or you can start your plan from scratch using the home style templates that I'll be using today. I already have a plan open, so I will close this dialog box for now. Let's start by going over the program toolbar. First, we have our Select Object tool. This will allow you to select any object within the plan. Next, we have our Straight Wall tool. When I select the Wall tool, I have all my other straight wall options appear on the right-hand side of my toolbar. Some of you may see a drop-down menu instead of this Parent-Child option, and this can easily be changed through your preferences under the toolbar option. I'll be using the Parent-Child option for today. We'll begin by selecting our straight exterior wall, bringing my cursor down into my grid, and simply clicking and dragging. Notice the temporary dimensions that appear. I'll just click and drag and make my way around to create a basic living area. The blue dashed lines serve as my indicator showing that my walls are aligned. When I create my basic living area, I can see a square footage defined for me below. Let's go ahead and draw another room here, which will make our garage. And now let's go ahead and look at this in 3D. To take a 3D view, I will select our camera option at the top of our screen. These are your perspective view tools. Within these tools, we have a full camera, a floor camera, perspective full overview, which will include a roof, a dollhouse view, and our framing overview. I will select our dollhouse view for right now. And instantly, you see a 3D model appear. I'll go ahead and zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Notice that the wall coloring, the molding, the floor material, and the siding, everything you see here has been predefined within my default settings. Let's go ahead and exit out of this 3D view by using the gray X in the upper right-hand corner. And we'll get into our default settings. I'll double-click on our wall tool to open up our wall defaults. I can then double-click on our exterior-interior wall, where I can choose from a predefined wall type, or I can select Define if I want to create my own. I'll go ahead and exit out of here, and I'll show you a little bit about dimensioning. Within our dimension tools at the top of our screen, we have our manual dimension, end-to-end, angular, interior, point-to-point, auto exterior, and a tape measure tool. If I select auto exterior, you can see that with one click, the program will automatically generate these dimensions for me. I'll go ahead and undo this for now, and let's go ahead and dimension our rooms. To dimension, I'll just simply select a wall, and I can either click on the wall dimension to make the change, or I can select the perpendicular dimension to make the change. I'll make this 30 feet, and I will specify the foot marker as feet. Now let's go ahead and make a change to the garage. I'll go ahead and make this 30 feet by 32 feet. Now let's go ahead and change this room type to a garage. I'll double-click on the room, and under the room type, we'll specify this as a garage, and I do want to show the room label. Now let's look at this again in 3D so you can see the change that was made. So you can see that now my garage is a slab, which is what I've predefined as my garage defaults. This is a great time-saving feature. If you know what defaults you want for a specific room, you can go ahead and set that up ahead of time. We'll exit out of this room and start working on our interior walls. I'll locate back up to our straight wall tool and select our straight interior wall. And I'll just simply click and drag inside my plan to create my interior walls. Within your dimensioning defaults, you can choose where the dimensions locate to. So I'll just click and drag and create a few more rooms here, and let's go ahead and dimension. I'll simply select a wall, and you can either select the dimension on that wall or select the perpendicular dimension to make the change. I'm just typing in, I'll do 20 feet and then hit enter on my keyboard to make the change. We'll go ahead and make our dining area 12 feet by 12 feet. And then let's go ahead and just dimension this room. Alright, now that everything looks good, let's go ahead and look at this in a 3D view. I'll locate up to our perspective view tools and we'll select our dollhouse view. At the top of our screen, we have a Move Camera with Mouse tool. This allows us to rotate our 3D model around. I can then zoom in by using the scroll wheel on my mouse. Let's go ahead and add some basic doors and windows. At the top of our screen, we have our door tools. Here we have our hinge door, doorway, sliding door, pocket door, bifold, and a garage door. I will select our hinge door, and as I bring my cursor down into my plan, I can see an indicator of where that door will be placed. Once I find the correct location, I'll click once to place it. Let's go ahead and add a doorway and a few sliding doors. From within our library browser, I'll add an entry door. To access your library, click the Library drop-down menu at the top of your screen and select Library Browser. This is where all the Chief Architect core content, bonus content, and any manufacturer catalogs that you've downloaded are stored. You can also import custom 3D objects from outside sources, or if you've modified an object from our library, you can save it to your folder for easy use. And that's what I've done. This entry door I use quite often, so I've saved it to my library. I'll place this in our plan with one click. Now let's go ahead and add some garage doors. I'll go back up to our door tool and select our garage door, and I'll place 2 of these. We'll rotate our view around a little bit so you can see this more clearly. I'll go ahead and double-click on the second garage door and change the width to 16 feet. Now let's go ahead and center these doors within the garage. I'll multi-select on both doors by holding the Control key on my keyboard. At the bottom of our screen, we have a Center Objects tool. This allows you to center objects in a 2D or 3D view. And with one click, those doors have been centered. Let's go ahead and add some windows now. At the top of our screen, I'll go to our window tools. Here we have our standard window, bay window, box, bow, and a pass-through tool. I'll select our standard window, and just like the door tool, I'll find the indicator of where that window will be placed, and I'll just click to place it. Let's go ahead and add a few windows in our garage. I found a garage window I'd like to use and saved it to my library. We'll just add a few of these on the side of the garage. Let's go ahead and modify this window. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the shutters since it's already been cut off a little bit, since the window's a little too large for that room. Under the window type, I'll select left sliding and we'll change the height to 18 inches. Let's go ahead and change the width to 30 inches. Under the Lights tab, let's go ahead and remove the lights. When I click OK, you can see that instant update. Now let's go ahead and change this room to a bathroom. I'll double-click on the room, and under Room Type, I'll specify Bath. And you can see that now the flooring material has changed to what I've set up for my bathroom defaults. Let's go ahead and exit out of this 3D view, and we'll finish placing our doors. Let's go back up to our door tool and place a few more doors in 2D. I'll select our hinge door, and then I'll zoom in just a little bit. I can choose the hinge side and the swing side before I place my door by clicking down, and before I let go of that click, I can just move my mouse around to select the correct opening hinge side and swing side. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Although I'm using the same door tool, the program will recognize whether I'm placing that door going into an interior or an exterior living space, and it will change that door accordingly. Let's move down here, and we'll go ahead and add some double doors. So I'll click once to place a door, click that door again, and then find my editing toolbar and just click and drag to create double doors. You can easily change the opening hinge side and swing side after a door has been placed. To do that, you can select a door and find the triangle editing arrow and just move this around. Or I can select a door. I'll go ahead and multi-select these two doors by holding Control on my keyboard. And once they're selected, at the bottom of our screen, we have a Change Opening Hinge Side and a Swing Side option. Let's go ahead and take a 3D view of the inside of our house. This time, I'll use our full camera. I'll click where I'm standing in the room and drag to my focus point. Now let's make some changes to these doors. I'll double-click on a door to open up the door specification. I'll go ahead and change the width to 6 feet and hit Tab on my keyboard to have the update appear. Under the door style, I'll select a French door from our library. I'll select Glass Panel, French Door, and here I can see what door I'll be placing. Once I found one I like, I'll click OK. Under the Options tab, under 3D Display, I can choose to show the door open or closed. Let's see what that looks like open. Now let's go ahead and make a change to our doorway. I'll make the same type of change, make this 6 feet, but let's go ahead and add an arch. I'll select Broken Arch, and we'll make it 12 inches. Now let's go ahead and exit out of this 3D view and start working on our kitchen. On the right-hand side of our screen, we have some more editing options. The first tool we have here is Zoom. I'll just mark key around the area that I'd like to see closer, and that'll automatically zoom in for us. Now let's start our kitchen design. At the top, we have our cabinet tools. Here we have our base cabinet, wall cabinet, full height, soffit tool, shelf, partition, and a custom countertop. I'll start with our base cabinet. As I bring my cursor down into my plan and connect it with the corner of my walls, I'll drag my cursor closer and closer to the corner to create a corner cabinet, and I'll click once to place. I'll make my way around the kitchen and create a basic L-shaped design. To make a change to the dimension, I'll place a cabinet and click on it again, and take the Editing Tools bar and drag it out. Make a few more changes here. We'll make this cabinet 36 inches for our sink base. And let's go ahead and add a full height cabinet. And then we'll start with the wall cabinet and do the same type of design. I'll start at the corner and just click to place. I'll make an opening here so we can add a hood above our range. And we'll place a few more on this side. Now that we have our basic kitchen design completed, let's take a look at this in 3D. I'll use our perspective view tools and select our full camera. And here's what we've created so far. So I'll double click on my corner cabinet because I've decided I'd like to make a change. Under the front tab, I have more corner options. I can uncheck diagonal door and add a lazy Susan. And we'll make the same type of change to our wall cabinet. You can also make changes to the door and drawer, including the handle and the hinges, the moldings, the materials, and so on. Let's make a change to this base cabinet. When I open it up, I can select this door, which will bring us to the front tab. Under the face items, I'd like to change this item type to a drawer and make it 9 inches. I'll then select this blank area and make this a drawer. Now let's go ahead and add some appliances. From within my library, I've already added a folder with all the kitchen appliances I'd like to use. We'll start with our fridge. I'll look for the indicator that shows me where that fridge will be placed and click once to place it. I'll just select the base cabinet where I'd like that appliance to be placed, and it'll automatically make room for it within the base cabinet. We'll add a hood above our range, a double oven, and we'll add a dishwasher next to our sink. I'll double click on the hood and we'll change the floor to bottom height to 60 inches to meet up with the top of our cabinets. Now let's go ahead and add some cabinets in 3D. Back up to our cabinet tools, we'll select our wall cabinet. The program will automatically adjust the height of the cabinet because it knows that it's sitting on top of a refrigerator. Go ahead and add a full height cabinet, and I'll zoom in on my sink area and we'll place a window above our sink. Back up to our window tools, I'll click once to place my window. Now I'll double click on it and we'll make some changes. We'll change this to a left sliding and change the width to 40 inches. Then I'll remove my shutters and we'll remove the lights. With the window selected, I'll come down to our editing toolbar and find our center object tool. I'll center this above the sink. This is a great time-saving feature. Now let's go ahead and exit out of our 3D view and we'll place an island. I've created an island from scratch and blocked all the objects together to create one object called an architectural block. I'll simply place the architectural block and select it, find my triangle, and rotate it around. I'll then use my temporary dimensions to make this 4 feet on either side of my base cabinet. So we'll do 48 inches. And once it's dimensioned, I can explode the architectural block if I'd like to make changes to each individual component. Now let's go ahead and look at this in 3D again. The first thing you notice is that my materials don't quite match up. At the top of our screen, we have a material eyedropper. If I pick up this white wood, I have the option of changing the material on a component, an object, the entire room, the entire floor, or the entire plan. We'll start with the component mode. I'll click once on this cabinet, and you can see that just the door was changed. If I select Object, you can see that the entire object will be changed. Let's go ahead and do the room mode. We'll do the same thing for our countertops. I'll pick up this black granite, and with room mode selected, apply it to the rest of my countertops. Now let's go ahead and add a backdrop. From within our Chief Architect content, we offer lots of backdrops. You can also import your own JPEG image and apply it. We'll go ahead and scroll through here and see what we'd like to add. Once I find one that I like, I'll just click within my window to place it. Now we'll go ahead and make a change to the wall color. Under Materials, we'll find our generic colors, and I'd like to add a blue. So I'll just scroll down and see what color I like, and just click once on the wall to apply it. Currently, we are in our standard 3D view. However, at the top of our screen, we offer a vector view, glass house, technical illustration, and a watercolor. You can make changes to all of these components as well. We'll go back to our standard view and exit out of this 3D view. I'll go ahead and maximize our view and then zoom in on our bedroom area. From within my library, I've already found a bedroom set that I'd like to add. This is an architectural block, just like the island. So I'll rotate this around and then drag it close to the wall. Again, I can explode it at the bottom of our screen if I want to make changes. Under our electrical tools at the top of the screen, we have a 110-volt outlet, 220-volt, our standard light, switch, connect electrical tool, and auto place outlets. If I select auto place outlets and click once in the room, the program will automatically generate those outlets for me. I can then select an outlet and move it around, or hit backspace or delete on my keyboard if I want to get rid of it. Back up to our electrical tools, I'll go ahead and add a few switches next to each door. And then we'll add some lights. The light that I've chosen as my default is a recessed light. However, you can set this up to be whatever you'd like. Under the Connect Electrical tool, I'll just click and drag to each light, and then connect it again with my second switch. As I zoom in, you can see a 3 appears. This means I've created a 3-way switch. I also have control over my Connect Electrical. Now let's take a look at this in a 3D view. I'll go ahead and use our full camera. We'll take a look at the inside of our bedroom. So you can see that the backdrop is carried over, and as I rotate around, you can see the lights, the outlets, and the switches have all appeared. Let's work with our layer sets and then move on to our foundation. I'll go ahead and close our library browser for now. At the top of our screen, under Tools, I'll select Display Options. Home Designer is set up using layers. This means you can control what you see in your plan. To clean up our plan a little bit, I'm going to remove some of our labels, including our architectural blocks and cabinets. We'll go down the list here, remove our door labels and our electrical. And just a few more. We'll get rid of our room labels and window labels. When I select OK, you can see how the plan is cleaned up. Under our floor tools, we have a few options. You can rebuild your walls, floors, or ceilings, build a new floor, build a foundation, insert or delete a floor. We'll start with our foundation. I'll select this. This will bring up our foundation dialog. A new feature that we have is Auto Rebuild Foundation. Here's where you will change your wall height if you wanted to create a basement. You can select your foundation type or the slab and slab thickness. Everything is set up correctly for right now for me, so I'll select OK. This will automatically bring us to floor 0, which is your foundation level. Let's go ahead and look at this in a 3D view. You can see the slab that we have for our garage and our footings for the rest of the house. You can go up and down between floors by selecting the arrows in both a 2D and a 3D view. We'll go ahead and get out of here, and we'll go up to our first floor, and let's build a second floor. So I'll select Build New Floor, and the option that I have is to derive my second floor from my first floor plan, or create my second floor from scratch. I do want to derive it, so I'll select OK. This will bring up our Floor 2 defaults. I'll go ahead and uncheck Ceiling over this room to create cathedral ceilings. Now that we've created our second floor, I'd like to see what I've done on Floor 1. On the right-hand side of our screen, we have a tool called Reference Display. This will bring up an indicator of my first floor. Now I'm going to go back up to my Straight Wall tool, select our straight exterior wall, and I'm just going to connect these walls. I would like to expose my garage, so I'll go ahead and delete the rest of these garage walls. Now let's go ahead and go down to our first floor and we'll build some stairs. Our stair tools are located at the top of our screen. Here we have our straight stairs, click stairs, curve to the left and the right, a ramp, and a landing tool. I'll start with our straight stairs. I'll just click in my plan and drag. And we'll click and drag again, and I'll click in the middle to create a landing. Then I'll double click on our staircase, where I have control over my tread information, or I can select Make Best Fit and the program will auto-calculate this information for me. I have control over my staircase style, my railing information, materials, and so on. So you can see that the program did adjust my staircase, so I'll just multi-select on these stairs and drag them back into place. Now let's take a look at this in a 3D view. I'll use my full camera again. And the first thing I want to do is create a stairwell. So I'll select the stairs, and at the bottom of the screen, this brings up my staircase editing toolbar. The last tool we have here is Auto Stairwell. And the program will automatically generate this for us. Now let's go ahead and split our screens so we can work in a 2D and a 3D view. I'll do this by holding Shift on my keyboard and hitting F6. Now we'll zoom in on our 2D view, and I'm going to add some walls below our stairs. I'll select our straight interior wall to create walls below our stairs. I'll just click and drag to make these walls. And when I connect the third wall together, you can see that it instantly creates this area underneath our staircase. In our 3D view, let's go ahead and add a hinged door. Now we have some storage underneath our staircase. Let's go ahead and exit out of our 3D view, and we'll maximize our 2D view and start working on our roof. At the top of our screen, we have our roof tools. Here we have our automatic build roof, roof plane, ceiling plane, gable roof line, skylight, dormer options, and the option to fix or delete your roof. I'll select the auto build roof. The first thing I'm going to do is check the box that reads Build Roof Planes, and I'm going to ask the program to automatically rebuild my roofs as I make changes. Under the Roof Style tab, the program will automatically create a hip roof. We'll change it to gable in just a moment. You can create a shed roof, salt box, gambrel, gull wing, half hip, mansard, and dormer. We'll also be adding some dormers to our plan in just a moment. When I select OK, you can see the green dashed lines that appear serve as my roof planes. Let's take a look at this in 3D. This time I'm going to select my full overview to include a roof. And I'll rotate around so you can see a little bit better. Let's go ahead and make a change to these walls. I want to turn this into a gable wall. I'll select the wall and open it up. Under the Roof tab, I can select Full Gable Wall, or we have a shortcut, select the wall, and at the bottom of the screen, select the tool that says Change to Gable Wall. I'll go ahead and rotate around and do the same thing on this side. Let's go ahead and add some windows above here. Now we'll exit out of this 3D view and go up to our second story so we can add some dormers. Before we add our dormers, let's go ahead and change the pitch of our roof. I'll go back to Auto Build Roof and select Build Roof Planes, and we'll change the pitch to 8 and 12. While we're still in the Roof tools, I'll go ahead and select Auto Floating Dormer. I'll bring my cursor where I'd like the dormer to be placed and click once. I'll then select the dormer where I can make a change to where it locates next to the wall, or I can make the dormer smaller or larger. With it selected, I'm going to come down to our editing toolbar and select Copy Paste. Then I'll find my 4 arrows and drag this across to make a copy. I'll go ahead and make one more copy. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in a 3D view. I'm going to zoom in on our model and I want to make some changes to the windows in our dormers. I'll go ahead and multi-select on these windows and open them up for specification. Under the Shutters tab, I'll remove the shutters. And let's go ahead and add another light in the window. Let's add a few more windows to our second story. And now let's go ahead and close out of this view and we'll create a wraparound porch. I'll turn off Reference Display for now. At the top of our screen, we have our deck tools. Here we have our straight and curved deck railing, our deck edges, and our polygon-shaped deck. I'll start with our straight deck railing and just click and drag. This tool works just like our straight wall tool. Once I've connected the deck railing with the house, I can go ahead and dimension. I'll select the deck railing and click on our temporary dimension. I'd like to make this 8 feet on either side. Now I'll go ahead and double-click on the deck area to open up the room specification dialog. Under the Structure tab, I'll specify roof over this room. Now I'll select this deck railing and change it to a gable. I'll multi-select on the center railings, and we'll open this up. Under the Railing tab, I'd like to change this to post to beam. Now let's change the pitch of our roof. I'll multi-select on each roof plane and open it up. The program is asking me if I would like to turn off auto rebuild roofs, which I do, so I'll select yes. We'll change the pitch to 3 and 12. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this in 3D, using our Perspective Full Overview. I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can see the porch that we've created. Now let's go ahead and start working with our terrain. At the top of our screen, we have the Terrain drop-down menu. I'll select Create Terrain Perimeter. The program will auto-generate this terrain for us. I'll go ahead and zoom out here and rotate around. And we'll go ahead and split our screens so I can work in both a 2D and a 3D view. At the top of our screen under Window, I'll choose to tile vertically. I'll go ahead and zoom out in my 2D view, and we're just going to adjust the terrain. So I'll just select it and drag it to where I'd like it to go. You can also import your own terrain elevation data. Go ahead and increase the size here, and then drag it out on this side. Now I'll double-click on the terrain and uncheck Auto Calculate Elevation. At the top of our screen, I'm going to change into our terrain configuration set. Currently, we're in our default configuration. This will give me access to all of my terrain tools. The first tool we have is our Terrain Tools. The next one is our terrain elevation tools. Here we have our elevation points, elevation lines, splines, and regions. I'll select the elevation region, and we're just going to draw out two separate regions here. Now let's go ahead and open up this second region, and we're going to change the elevation to -50. Now I'll zoom around here in my 3D view, and you can see the sloped lot that was created. Let's go ahead and select our 2D view, and we'll draw a fence. Under our fence tools, we have a straight and a curved fence. I'm just going to start at our house and click and drag. This will auto-generate my fence for me, and as we come around to the back side, you can see that the fence will follow the terrain. The blue dashed lines will indicate that I'm parallel with the end of the garage. Go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to create a driveway area. At the top of our screen, under Terrain, I'll select Road and Sidewalk and specify my driveway. And I'll just go ahead and click and drag. I'll just mark here around the area I'd like my driveway to be, and that will generate that driveway for us. I'll go ahead and rotate this 3D view around so you can see. Now let's go ahead and add some stairs going on to the front of our porch. I'll go back to our standard configuration, and under our stair tools, select Click Stairs. I'll place my cursor right outside of our deck railing and click once. The stairs will auto-generate and reach my terrain. I can just increase the width if I'd like to. Now we'll zoom in on our 3D view and we'll change the colors. I'd like to match the material up with the rest of my deck, so I'll use my material eyedropper and just copy and paste these colors. Now we'll go ahead and zoom out of here, and we're going to add a deck to the back of our house. I'm going to add the deck in our 2D view. So we'll go back up to our deck tools and select our straight deck railing, and I'm just going to click and drag this out. I'll go ahead and dimension this deck, and we'll go ahead and make this 16 feet. You can see that the footings appear in our 3D view. Now we'll go ahead and make some stairs going off of our deck, using our click stairs again. And like before, we'll go ahead and increase the width, and then we'll get into our 3D view and match up the materials. Let's go ahead and zoom out in our 3D view, and we'll go ahead and make a walkway going to our driveway. I'm going to create the walkway in our 2D view. Under our terrain tools, I'll go down to Road and Sidewalk and specify a straight sidewalk. And I'm just going to simply click and drag to where I'd like this to be. And we'll just drag this up here and then connect it with our driveway. Let's go ahead and increase the width. I'll zoom in here. And now let's go ahead and get into our library browser and we'll find a gate. At the top of our screen under Library, I'll specify Library Browser, and we'll just type in Gate. We'll scroll down and see our gate options. Let's go ahead and use the Picket Gate. And I'll just place this in here. And then I'll go ahead and increase the size and make this a double gate. Now let's go ahead and add some plants to our plan. We'll go ahead and rotate our 3D model around to the front. Let's go ahead and add a garden bed. I'll open up my library browser again, and within my folder, I've already created a garden bed. I'll go ahead and just place this in our plan in my 2D view. This garden bed is an architectural block, so it's something that I've created from scratch and then grouped together. Go ahead and resize that. Let's go ahead and zoom around to the backyard, and we'll add another garden bed to the back. We'll place our bush garden. And then we'll just rotate this around and drag it into place. Now let's get into our plant chooser. Within Home Designer, you can search for lots of different styles of plants. Under Terrain, we'll go down to Plant and select Plant Chooser. Here you can search for a plant by its common name, scientific name, flower color, leaf color, bloom time, and so forth. We also have a hardiness zone map. You can specify your region, whether you're in Alaska, Hawaii, Australia. Chief Architect is located in the western USA. We're all the way up here in northern Idaho. So you can see that my colors here are 5 and 6. Now that I know that, I'll select OK, and we'll specify 5 and 6 for my zones in search. This will bring up all the different plants that are able to grow in my area. Once I found one that I like, I'll just close the dialog as the plant will show up in my library browser. And I'll just click to place the tree. We'll just go ahead and place 2 of them. And then I'll zoom out in my 3D view so you can see. So you can see that it's very easy to design your landscaping within Home Designer. Before we move on to our framing, let's go ahead and do one more change here. I'll zoom in on my 2D view, and we're just going to create a sidewalk going onto our driveway. So we'll find our sidewalk, and I'll just click and drag this out and connect it with our driveway. Now I'll go ahead and increase the width. And we'll go ahead and change the material. Within my library browser, I've found a cobblestone material I'd like to apply. So I'll select the cobblestone material and just paste it onto our walkways. I'll do the same thing on this side. You can change the material of the driveway if you'd like to. I'm going to keep it concrete. And as I rotate around, you can see that that was applied all the way around. Okay, let's go ahead and exit out of our 3D view, and we'll move on to our framing. To generate our framing, I'll select our general framing tools at the top of the screen. Here we have our build framing, general framing, post, reference marker, bearing line, and joist direction. I'll select auto build framing, and we'll start at our foundation. Automatic floor to ceiling framing is selected, and then I'll select our build floor framing for our subfloor for floor 1, and we'll just work our way up. I'll build our framing for our wall and our roof, and hit OK. It's asking me if I would like to display these layers. I'm not going to display any layer except for the wall for right now, so you can see what it looks like. You can see all the framing members generated in the wall. You can also look at this in a 3D view by using the Framing Overview. So now I can go ahead and rotate around this framing overview. And when I zoom in, you can see each individual framing member, and if I want to make a change, I can do so within Home Designer Professional. We'll go ahead and exit out of this 3D view, and we'll just turn off our framing layer. Now let's move on to our material lists. Home Designer will generate a full material list for you. Under Tools, I'll go down to Material List, where I can calculate from all floors, a certain area, a specific room, or I can enter my pricing into a master list. I'll calculate from all floors. The general area is where the heating information is stored. As I scroll down, you can see the foundation, subfloor, framing, trim, roofing, and so forth. Under our display options, you can choose to include specific categories, or you can add or remove columns such as markup or labor. You can also export the material list as a text file, CSV, Excel, or HTML. I'll go ahead and exit out of our material list, and I do not want to save it for right now. Now let's go ahead and talk about our layout pages. Layout pages can be created within Home Designer Professional. These can be used to obtain a building permit. We'll go to File and New Layout, and here's what's created. I'll go ahead and toggle back to our plan view so we can send this floor plan to our layout page. Let's first turn off some layers. We'll start with our architectural blocks. We'll remove our fences and plants, our terrain, and our roof planes. That cleans up the plan just a little bit for us. To send this to our layout page, I'll go to File and down to Send to Layout. Here it allows us to scale. I'll do an 1/8 inch equals a foot. And then I can move this around on our layout page. We'll go ahead and toggle back, and I'm going to take a different camera view this time. At the top of the screen, we have our orthographic view tools. Here we have our cross-section elevation, back-clipped cross-section, wall elevation, orthographic full dollhouse and framing overview. I'll use our standard cross-section and just click and drag. You are able to make changes within this view and also dimension. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have a tool that allows you to toggle the color on or off. Let's go ahead and send this to our layout page, this time using a shortcut, Send to Layout. We'll scale this again and wait for it to generate. Within your layout page, you can generate tables and legends, add text, or add your own company information. Home Designer Pro can also create layout pages as large as 18 by 24 inches. You can arrange this anywhere you'd like within your layout page and use the editing tools to make it larger or smaller. I'll go ahead and bring up the website and I'll show you some great resources we have available. You can download a free trial version directly from the website of Home Designer Professional. That's what I was using today. You can watch an overview video also on this page. Under Products at the top, you can come down to Product Chooser and select Compare All Products. This is a great resource to find out exactly what features each program has to offer. If you're using an older version of the software, you can upgrade through our Upgrade Wizard. Just choose what program you have and what version you have, and the instant discounts will appear. Under the User Center at the top of the screen, we have our Content Download. Here's where you can download manufacturer content. We also have training videos available. You can select the Home Designer program that you have, or you can just start from the top and work your way down. Also, we have a help database. This help database is a great place for you to search for how-to articles. We'll type in pools. And here's an article, How to Create a Swimming Pool. So these articles will show you step by step with pictures how to accomplish this task. And it will also show you that the information in the article applies to which programs. We also offer an online user forum, Home Talk. This is a great place to go to ask questions and communicate with current Home Designer users. All Home Designer programs are based off our professional-grade software, Chief Architect. Each program is very powerful and offers a lot of great design tools and is also very user-friendly. Take advantage of the free training videos, help database, and user forum, as these are put in place to help our users become proficient in the program. We offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new purchases and upgrades, so you have a full month to make sure the software is meeting your needs. If you have any last-minute questions, please feel free to chat those in. We'll be on for a few more minutes. If you need help choosing a product or have additional questions, don't hesitate to call or email. Thank you so much for attending. It was a pleasure to go over the program with you, and have a great day. Thank you.